The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
All right. Well, good morning, everybody, and this is the Town of Hempstead Town Board meeting for January 19, 2021. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Supervisor Clavin.
Aye.
Councilman Blakeman.
Here.
Councilman Carini.
Here.
Councilman D'Esposito.
I'm here.
Councilman Dunn. Senior Councilwoman Gooseby.
Here.
Councilman Muscarella.
I'm here.
I am now going to welcome back and ask our Senior Councilwoman Dorothy Gooseby to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Oh, I thank you very much. I'm glad to be back. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And thank you all for all your prayers.
And I do want to advise everybody, Senior Councilwoman has a cane that is extendable and can hit any member of the town board at any moment, so everybody should be on notice. Because of the governor's executive orders and because of COVID-19 pandemic, today's public hearings will allow for both in-person participation and telephonic participation using the GoToWebinar. Instructions for participating in the GoToWebinar as well as the pertinent documents regarding today's public hearings are available on the town's website. After the call of each public hearing, the public who are at Town Hall will first make their comments, and then our participants on the GoToWebinar will be allowed. All participants on the GoToWebinar must pay attention to the case called by our esteemed town clerk. When the public hearing is called to which you speak, you must click on the Raise Your Hand button on the GoToWebinar explained in the instructions in the town's website. If you do not click on the Raise Your Hand button, then you will not be called upon. All participants on the GoToWebinar will be muted until the moderator calls your name to speak. You must pay attention for your name and begin speaking when your name is called, or the moderator will go to the next participant. The moderator will not recall anyone's name, so do me a favor, pay attention. If you are participating on the GoToWebinar and watching a live stream, when it's your turn, can you do us a favor and hit the mute button so we can avoid feedback? Each participant will be given one chance to speak for up to 3 minutes in accordance with the town board's rules. When you're done speaking, your time is up. The moderator will again mute you on the GoToWebinar, and at the end of the public hearing portion of the meeting, the GoToWebinar will be turned off. I am encouraging all those who are using the GoToWebinar to continue listening and watching the meeting on our town's live stream page. Please also note that anyone using profanity or straying off topic, you will be muted. Madam Clerk, please call the first public hearing.
Our first public hearing is a proposed local law regarding regulations and restrictions to limit parking in Elmont, Oceanside, and Wantagh.
All right. Does any member of the public here at Town Hall wish to be heard on this? And the answer is no. All right. If you are participating on the GoToWebinar, please click the Raise Your Hand button now as described in the instructions on the website. Mr. Moderator.
Supervisor, no participant clicked raise your hand on this public hearing.
Okay, may I please have a motion?
Supervisor, I move that the public hearing be closed and the local law adopted.
Supervisor Clavin.
Aye.
Councilman Blakeman.
Aye.
Councilman Carini.
Aye.
Councilman D'Esposito. Aye. Senior Councilwoman Gooseby.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Aye. Madam Clerk, please call the next public hearing.
We have a proposed local law regarding parking or standing prohibitions in Baldwin, Belrose Terrace, Elmont, Roosevelt, Uniondale, and Wantagh.
Okay, does any member of the town board wish to be heard on this item? Okay, and is there anyone at Town Hall that wishes to be heard on this item? The answer to that is no. And if you are participating on the GoToWebinar, now is your chance to raise your hand as described in the website. Mr. Moderator.
Supervisor, no participant clicked raise your hand on this public hearing.
Okay, thank you. May I please have a motion?
I move that the public hearing be closed and the motion adopted.
Second.
Supervisor Clavin.
Aye.
Councilman Blakeman.
Aye.
Councilman Carini.
Aye.
Councilman D'Esposito. Senior Councilwoman Gooseby.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Aye. Madam Clerk, please call the next public hearing.
We have a proposed local law regarding arterial stops in Franklin Square and Uniondale.
Okay, does any member of the board wish to be heard on this item? Okay, if not, may I see if anybody, oh, I'm sorry, oh, I'm gonna, hold on there. If there's not anybody here at Town Hall that wishes to be heard on this, the answer to that is no. Okay, now is your chance, if you're participating on the GoToWebinar, to please raise your hand. Mr. Moderator.
Supervisor, no participant clicked raise your hand on this public hearing.
Okay, may I please have a motion?
I move to adopt the item.
Second.
Supervisor Clavin.
Aye.
Councilman Blakeman.
Aye.
Councilman Carini.
Aye.
Councilman D'Esposito. Senior Councilwoman Gooseby.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Aye. Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
We have a proposed local law regarding traffic regulations in the vicinity of schools in Baldwin.
Okay, does any member of the board wish to be heard on this item? Okay, if not, is there anyone in town hall wishes to be heard on this item? No, there is not. Now, if you're participating in the Go-To webinar, we ask you to please click the Raise Your Hand button on the webpage. Mr. Moderator.
Supervisor, no participant clicked raise your hand on this public hearing.
Okay, may I please have a motion?
I move that the public hearing be closed and the motion adopted.
Second.
Supervisor Clavin.
Aye.
Councilman Blakeman.
Aye.
Councilman Carini.
Aye.
Councilman D'Esposito. Senior Councilwoman Gooseby.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Aye. Madam Clerk, please call the next public hearing.
We have the proposed handicap parking on public streets in Elmont and Wantagh.
All right, does any member of the board wish to be heard on this item? If not, is there anyone here at Town Hall wishes to be heard on this item? The answer to that is? Okay. And now, if you are participating in the Go-To webinar, we ask you to please click the Raise Your Hand button. Our esteemed moderator.
Supervisor, no participant clicked raise your hand on this public hearing.
Okay, may I please have a motion?
I make a motion to adopt the item.
Second.
Supervisor Clavin.
Aye.
Councilman Blakeman.
Aye.
Councilman Carini.
Aye.
Councilman D'Esposito. Senior Councilwoman Gooseby.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Aye.
Okay, Madam Clerk, please call the next public hearing.
Our last public hearing is a proposed amendment of Article 8, Section 78 of the Building Zone Ordinance of the Town of Hempstead in relation to two-family dwellings in BA residence districts.
And Supervisor, I just want to note for the record that this morning my office received a letter from the Nassau County Planning Commission recommending local determination on that building zone ordinance amendment.
Thank you very much, Mr. Covet, as always. Does any member of the board wish to be heard on this item? Okay, if not, I know I saw her slip in. We have case number 6, Diane Madden. Could you please give your name and address for the record? Good morning.
Diane Madden, Hempstead. I wanted to mention before I begin that when residents are walking from the other building to this pavilion, you can't hear any of the conversation that's taking place. I'm not sure why we can't sit in this building. I believe Jeannie Driscoll held meetings here. There's 4 people in attendance today. Item number 6, could someone give me details on that and also what the amendment is?
Yes, this area of Wantagh, basically a localized 4-block area of Wantagh, was originally developed long ago with 2-family dwellings. Subsequently, the town adopted its zoning regulations and the property was in a BA zone. However, in 1962, in deference to the people who bought those houses and were using them as 2-family homes, the town created the BA district. And basically, the BA district in which they're located says that they're entitled to continue to use those houses as 2-family homes, subject to 5-year renewals by the town board. So every year, every 5 years since 1962, the town board has been granting 5-year extensions to allow those people or their successors to use the property as a 2-family home for 5 years.
And the amendment is to make changes on that, you said?
To extend it for the 5-year period that starts January 1st, 2021.
I mean, on speaker, but I hear nothing. I don't hear anything.
Okay, any other questions?
No, that's everything. But if someone could please explain to me why the residents cannot sit in this pavilion?
Thank you, Ms. Madden. Anything else on this topic?
No, thank you.
Okay, Mr. Covet, thank you very much for that very detailed and scholarly explanation there. I appreciate the good history. Good job. Is there anybody else in the public that wishes to be heard on this item? If not, good. we will go to the participating in the go-to webinar. If you would please hit the raise your hand button now as described.
Supervisor, one participant has clicked raise your hand.
Okay.
Ms. Valerie Lamp, perhaps also Ms. Heffron, I apologize. Please go ahead with your public comments.
Mrs. Heffron, if you give your name and address for the record.
Hello?
Ms. Heffron?
Hello?
Yep. Can you give your name and address for the record, please?
Yeah. Excuse me. Valerie Heffron and St. Augustine, Florida, and Massapequa, New York. Thank you. Hello?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay. Is this the public hearing for the stop sign?
No, this is item number 6 on the calendar, ma'am.
Okay. Well, anyway, I was just calling to ask if you would allow your public virtually participating through this go-to webinar for public comment and
Okay.
miscellaneous.
Ms. Heffron, are you calling regarding any comments regarding proposed amendment here for item number 6?
I'm not sure what item number this is. I'm not sure what item this is.
It's regarding the two-family dwellings residence district. Are you calling regarding that?
I'm calling to allow you for First Amendment.
Any questions regarding this item number 6? We've set forth the criteria and rules on the calling in.
I'm calling to ask you to allow your public to be heard.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Moderator, anybody else on the go-to webinar?
Supervisor, no other participant clicked raise your hand on this public hearing.
Okay, now, in that case, in order to comply with CEQA, it is necessary for the board to first adopt a negative declaration of environmental significance. Item number 1 on the number 41 on the administrative calendar is the CEQA negative declaration for this matter. So, in order to comply with law, I would ask for a motion to adopt that resolution out of order if the board is of a mind to grant the rezoning.
Mr. Supervisor, I move that we take the matter that is on the administrative calendar for the NED deck that relates to item 6, and that we vote on that separately now prior to a vote on item number 6.
Okay.
I second the motion.
So will someone move item number 41 then?
Item number 41 on the calendar. My only question is, any public comment?
No, there's no public comment on it.
Okay, okay. So at this time, I guess it is now a formal motion to be made accepting item number 41 on the administrative calendar. Do I have a second? Second?
Okay, Supervisor Clavin.
Aye.
Councilman Blakeman.
Aye.
Councilman Carini.
Aye.
Councilman D'Esposito. Aye. Senior Councilwoman Gooseby.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Aye.
Just for clarity on the record, that was administrative item number 41 that was just adopted.
Okay, so then, Madam Clerk, would you please call item number 6?
Okay, is there a motion to move?
Oh, my apologies, that's on me. May I please have a motion on item number 6?
I move that item number 6 be adopted.
Okay, I second it.
Supervisor Clavin.
Aye.
Councilman Blakeman. Councilman Carini.
Aye.
Councilman D'Esposito. Senior Councilwoman Gooseby.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Aye.
Supervisor, members of the board, now that the public hearing portion of today's calendar is complete, we will be turning off the go-to webinar, and we invite all the participants to continue watching and listening to the town board meeting on the Town of Hempstead's live stream found on our website.
Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, please call the administrative calendar.
Okay, there are items 7 through 53 with the exception of administrative item number 41, which was just passed on the administrative calendar. I also have one resolution that is of an urgent or emergency nature. The resolution is entitled a Resolution Authorizing Acceptance of the 2021 Nassau County Multi-Jurisdictional Hazard Mitigation Plan to provide the opportunity for receipt of available government funds to be utilized for the implementation of future hazard mitigation projects within the town of Hempstead. This will be item number 54 on the administrative calendar.
Okay. Does any member of the board wish to be heard on the administrative calendar? Okay, I know I have a couple of people checked in for the public. We'll start with a Felix Bercacci. Morning, Mr. Bercacci. If you give me name and address for the record, please.
I want to speak on item number 47.
Thank you.
The appointing of Joseph Nocella as town attorney. Joseph Nocella's appointment to town attorney will make him the newest member of the town's ethics board and its council, according to the town's ethics law. I propose the town set up a web page that includes Mr. Nocella's email address and instructions for submitting an ethics inquiry. In addition, the town should provide an email address for each of the ethics board members so Mr. Nocella can communicate with them through an official channel. The town's FOIL office has been telling residents to contact the town's outside counsel, Stephen Leventhal, not the acting town attorney, saying she cannot provide personal contact information of ethics board members. According to the town's ethics law, Mr. Leventhal has no official position in the town's Board of Ethics, so it is unclear as to his role in relation to processing ethics inquiries. I submitted an ethics inquiry on December 31st, and I have yet to receive any response from Mr. Leventhal or anyone else on the Ethics Board. This task is now the responsibility of Mr. Nocella as counsel to the town's Ethics Board, so it is necessary that Mr. Nocella contact information be made available to the public. According to the town's ethics law, the Board of Ethics shall acknowledge receipt of all complaints that it receives and shall proceed with reasonable promptness to conduct such investigations thereof as it deems necessary or appropriate. I hope Mr. Nocella takes this task seriously. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bercacci. Thank you very much for taking care of the mic and stuff. Appreciate it. Next, I have Diane Madden. Morning again, name and address for the record. Thank you.
Diane Madden, Hempstead. I have a question about Mr. Nocella and the assumption that he'll be remaining on this ethics board. What happens in the event that someone may have a complaint, an ethical complaint, within the town attorney's office?
Charles. Charles Covitt, thank you.
Thank you. If there was an ethics complaint about the town attorney's office, the town attorney's office would not be involved, and we would get a substitute that was neutral and independent.
But you don't know who that substitute is?
That would be determined on a case-by-case basis.
I agree.
A case-by-case basis?
Yes.
So depending on the complaint?
I cannot predict who would be the special counsel other than to say that they would be disinterested and independent from the town attorney's office in any manner.
Okay. Well, this feels like Groundhog Day, Supervisor Clavin. You're going to do things very differently, and I'm not quite sure why the town attorney would even serve on the ethics board. And that's troubling to me based on the history of this town. So if that is the plan, I think that you should have a substitute available to the public, who that person will be in the event that there are complaints that are received by the ethics board about the town attorney's office. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Madden. Have a good day. don't have any other slips on the administrative calendar. Patrick, anybody else? Okay, may I please have a motion on the administrative calendar on its entirety?
I move the administrative calendar for all through 53, with the exception of 41, which we've already passed.
So
We just clarify the record that's actually administrative item number 54 to include the.
Oh, 54, okay.
Thank you.
54, all right. Okay.
Supervisor Clavin.
aye.
Councilman Blakeman. Councilman Carini.
Aye.
Councilman D'Esposito. Senior Councilwoman Gooseby.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Aye.
Okay, may I please have a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Myself.
Supervisor Clavin.
Aye.
Councilman Blakeman. Councilman Carini.
Aye.
Councilman D'Esposito. Senior Councilwoman Gooseby.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Aye.
Okay, well, the formal portion of the meeting is over. We now keep tradition of remain to listen to the residents. We'll start with a Stu Kroll.
What's up?
Different bagels.
Good morning. If you give your name and address for the record.
Stu Crow, Great Neck. Mr. Clavin.
Morning, Mr. Kroll.
Morning. You have kept TOH's closed now for 10 months and counting. There are no volunteers allowed. No kittens can be brought into the shelter, only injured cats. Central Vet has just reopened on an abysmally low number of cats, apparently by appointment. Obviously, trapping cats with, knowing when you're going to trap them is difficult, and the amount of cats is insanely low. Also, I'd like to know, why is it safe to bring cats there, but it's unsafe at Hempstead? If somebody wants to answer that, I'd be happy to hear that. If your excuse of safety is going to fool anybody, I don't suggest they apply to Harvard. TNR is virtually a contactless program. Last month, I had 4 cats fixed at the town of North Hempstead shelter. I picked up those cats, and all involved personnel are still alive and kicking. A favorite rescue of mine located in Freeport usually fixes over 100 cats on a weekly basis. They take all necessary precautions, and everyone has stayed safe. It is taking this type of action that at least tries to keep the population of kittens under control and minimizes the tremendous suffering that these animals face on the street. Incidentally, stray cats on the street now are just as indigenous, as my estimation, as raccoons and squirrels due to the failure and indifference of municipalities to fulfill their responsibilities. How can a pretense of safety be alleged while Mr. Clavin took a photo with 10 people, none of whom were wearing masks? A 200-person fundraising dinner, when the state limit was 50, gives the impression that the supervisor wasn't terribly concerned about employee safety. Somehow I'm starting to see a contradiction here. This is a vacuous, deceitful attempt to keep the shelter closed for his own reasons. Any excuse of safety concerns is as false as his lying campaign promises. For instance, he stated he will accept all commissioner resignations. How many of these resignations have been accepted? Have you stopped all mailers as stated, except for tax purposes? I suspect not. As I recall at the debate for supervisor, you drew quite a laugh when you stated that nepotism and favoritism didn't exist and that all jobs were awarded on the basis of qualifications. First of all, I would like to know how we have a consultant, Ms. Fonte, working on a part-time basis at the shelter for $55 an hour when she lied about the majority of her qualifications. In the private sector, she would have been dismissed immediately for lying. I guess nobody could be bothered checking her qualifications. Strangely enough, Central Vet mentioned to me that they never closed due to a COVID outbreak, and they told me that unequivocally. There was no COVID outbreak. When I asked them if they were still doing spay-neuter, they said as many cats as I could afford to bring, they would fix. This is while the town program was not operating at all. For those that could pay full price, the program was safe and had sufficient technicians. So I would again like to know why our program is closed when everybody else's is open, even the one you contracted it to. I mean, it's really absurd. It is not only is it wrong, but this is a subsidized program at the cost of $5.5 million annual budget. In summation, Mr. Clavin, your premise is that no taxpayers are paying sufficient attention to your duplicity. Your actions completely contradict your words. The smooth-running TNR program has been abandoned due to a patently obvious phony reason of safety concerns.
Thank you, Mr. Kroll. Hey, Mr. Kroll, can we get your address for the record?
I'm sorry, what?
Can we just please get your address for the record?
I said in Great Neck.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're very welcome. But that,
Next, we'll have Mr. Kroll. Thank you.
There are two
Next,
possibilities.
no, Mr. Kroll. Thank you.
One of which.
No, Mr. Kroll. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Kroll. Thank you.
I've got to go back my jacket that way.
Please be safe. If you give a second there, we can wipe down the mic and everything. Thank you, kind sir. Next, I have Felix Bercacci. Name and address for the record, please.
Receiver of taxes, Jeannie Driscoll.
Name and address for the record, please.
In-person tax
No, Mr.
forms
Sir.
for the months of January.
Sir. Just your name and address for the record, please.
Felix.
No, your last name?
You're running the clock on me.
I'm not running the clock. I'm just saying.
It's running.
Don't yell. You did just for the name and record from the
Well,
beginning.
can you stop the clock? Felix Procacci. Same
Thank
as it
you.
was for the last 10 years. Receiver of taxes Jeannie Driscoll has scheduled in-person tax forums through the months of January and February, and some of these tax forums take place right here in the town's pavilion. Don Clavin has been using COVID-19 as an excuse to prohibit citizens from sitting in the pavilion during town board meetings. Yet Clavin has no problem with Jeannie Driscoll holding taxpayer forums in the town's pavilion. Apparently, the millions of dollars the town has spent on evaluating COVID-19 transmission shows that the virus is more contagious at town board meetings than at taxpayer forums. The truth is, Clavin uses COVID-19 excuse only when it suits his agenda. At the last meeting, he gave an impassioned statement to law student Claudia Canan, telling her the town's TNR program was suspended due to his concern for employees. But just last week, Clavin took a group photo at a park with employees and residents in which he stood shoulder to shoulder, much closer than any person would ever get to a town employee dropping off a cat for TNR. What Clavin forgot to tell Claudia was that he is a liar. The suspension of the town's TNR program has nothing to do with Clavin's concern for public safety. Last October, Clavin held a fundraiser in which 200 people sat 10 at a table, and there have been numerous photo ops during this pandemic with Clavin residents and employees standing shoulder to shoulder. In one incident, the town published a photo with none of the people at a Clavin event wearing the mask. Coincidentally, this picture was taken down when it was spread on social media. COVID-19 has even been Clavin's excuse to hold emergency town board meetings. Clavin has said the town board needs to pass COVID-19 resolutions before money can be allocated, but in the case of the $1 million allocated to H2M on September 8th, FOIL documents show that money was spent prior to the resolution being passed. The fact is these urgent town board meetings were just a method to get free publicity. As for the $1 million H2M contract passed after the money was spent, I am still waiting for records that show what work was performed. Yes, 4.5 months after the resolution was passed, the Clavin administration cannot tell taxpayers how they spent $1 million of taxpayer money, or they can say it was COVID-19 related.
Thank you for coming, Mr. Bicacci. It's nice to see you in person. Next, Diane Madden. Thank you for wiping it down again. Awesome, dude. Seriously. Morning again, Ms. Madden. Can we please have your name and address for the record again?
Diane Madden, Hempstead. I'd like to know when this board is going to allow for public comment virtually during the miscellaneous calendar.
We will take it under advisement. Thank you.
I'd like to know when this board is going to hire an outside diversity consultant based on the family tree hiring we saw and promoting we saw today again. H2M, have they advised the town officials that you need cashless exchange at the animal shelter? You have touchless toilet bowls, I believe. They're still taking cash by hand and coins. Has H2M made that recommendation?
Thank you for the recommendation. Taken under advisement.
I wish you'd take all my recommendations under advisement. You'd probably win again in the fall. The CSEA, I know that they have been a strong influence at shutting down the programs at the animal shelter. What's interesting is that Terry Hooker and Mike took issue with some job descriptions, which I agree with, that Hempstead's own civil service must update their job descriptions for the needs of the philosophy of a humane no-kill shelter. That didn't happen. What happened was you used COVID as an excuse to allow animals to die in the street, to be left on the street. And what I'd like to know is the union president and the vice president actually have titles. They are working outside of those titles. So the next time they would like to interview me as a candidate, and I look forward to it, I'd like to know how they can work out of title, but no one else at the animal shelter can work out of title. As far as CVA, it's not only despicable as a contracted service that's in violation of what they agreed to, but has caused immense suffering, and suffering we haven't even seen yet. This is actually kitten season. It's imperative that you, Mr. Clavin, as you promised, fix the animal shelter, re-implement the on-site safe, contactless program, and avoid litters upon litters of kittens born just to die on the street. That blood is on your hands, Supervisor. It's preventable. You can avoid it. All you have to do is pick up the phone and start the on-site program and stop this joke of a central vet that, by the way, you lied about an outbreak. There was no outbreak.
We really appreciate it. Thank you very much, and I do appreciate your comments. I've taken under advisement. Next, we're going to ask a Maria Angel, and again, if you could wipe it down as you have been diligently. Thank you so much. Good morning, Ms. Angel. If you give your name and address for the record, please.
Good morning, Maria. Oh, my address, Oceanside. I have been here numerous times, and I want to read to you the proof that my cat was illegally seized by the town. Animal point in time is called the document. On 2/15/2020 at 1:46 p.m., size medium, appears normal. These are characteristics of my cat on the name Mickey Mama. On her number is here, and they all appear on the Town of Hempstead Animal Shelter Adoption Center. Well, if the adoption center has a record of my cat appearing normal, then the lies, then the denials are false. The denials that my cat was never there are false. And the seizure of my cat is fraudulent. And the refusal of the Town of Hempstead to return my cat is inexcusable. I want to pick up my cat, and by the way, no FOIL documents are being provided. And my posters, lost cat posters, continue to be removed wherever I place them. So these are the actions of people who have nothing to hide. When can I pick up my cat, is my question.
Ma'am, can I ask you just a couple questions? I know that we spoke during last meeting, and you've been in contact with my office, and you do live in Oceanside, which I am proud to represent. I have not been in contact in a meaningful way with your staff. I proposed to meet with Mr. Pastore. It was agreed, and then it was canceled. Right, but you were off. Go ahead, I'll let you finish.
So we could very well meet now if you insist that.
Well, I'm not insisting that we meet. What I'm trying to point out.
My cat back.
When you're done, you let me know, and I'll continue.
Okay, continue.
All right. What I'm trying to point out is that the staff here, not only my staff, but the Supervisors Council has reached out to you on numerous occasions. There was a discussion that was had that you guys could have a meeting in person. That was, I think, a couple months ago. Then there was a a substantial spike in COVID. So for the protection, they offered to have a virtual meeting on Zoom. The meeting was set up. I know that there was a meeting in person that was canceled. They offered to set up a Zoom meeting with everyone that you need to speak to, from attorneys to our director at the shelter to our commissioner of general services, and it seems like there's a halt there. So how can I assist in getting everyone on a Zoom call so we can figure out what's going on and you don't have to, I mean, not that I don't mind seeing you, but I'm sure that, not that I mind seeing you, but I'm sure that you have better ways to spend your day. So how can I assist in getting everyone on a Zoom conference call so that we can figure out your issues and come to some sort of conclusion so we could put this behind us?
The Zoom offer was downgraded to a phone call. You don't discuss documents over the phone. You go in person and show what you have. And what I have here constitutes proof beyond a reasonable doubt. When a cat is described as appearing normal on 12 days after her disappearance.
But you have had in-person meetings. Staff from the town clerk's office has met with you on 2 different occasions to provide the information that they had.
They didn't know how to answer.
Right, but that's the information that they have, whether it's what you like or not, ma'am. That's the information that they have. So what I'm trying to do now is I'm trying to move this forward. I'm trying to get us on a conference call. We all know the information. We all know the paperwork. We all know the documents that we have. Let's get everyone on a conference call so we can discuss this and move forward.
No, conference call doesn't do it. I have provided my documents. I want to talk about the evidence that the town has. I don't want to talk about my evidence. I already know I have it, and it's here. And the town refuses to see it and gives me offers that are meaningless. I want to meet with Mr. Pastore, and I want him to turn over all the documents that he has been withheld for all this time. He has not provided the documents I requested on the FOIL. So the whole thing is a sham. I have proof that she was adopted at the shelter, so you cannot, or through the shelter. I have proof, so you cannot say that everything has been done and I didn't grasp it or something. You cannot say that. I have proof, and you've done nothing about it.
Appreciate it. Next, we're going to call up Ernest. Oh.
So you're not doing anything again.
Ms. Angel, thank you so much. We appreciate you taking the time. Kelly Shewart.
Hello, Kelly Shewart, Merrick, New York.
How you doing, Ms. Shewart?
Good, thank you. As per an email with Christine Grillo, very, very nice to speak with her, the $5,000 donation from Dr. Inframuso went to the Tales of Hope Fund. As per a 2018 audit, they recommended that was a separate fund, and I don't believe that was done. Can anyone confirm that?
I will have to follow up, but appreciate you pointing out that's the case.
Okay, because that, she did CC Mike Pastore on the email. He was supposed to get back to me to address some concerns I had about CVA. One of the things, I'm not sure how familiar you are with the Town of Hempstead program, which was fantastic, and we miss it horribly with kitten season beginning, is the paperwork, which is vital. It tells us what vaccines were given, if they were dewormed, and flea treatment. One of the problems I mentioned last time was I had a kitten and I got it taken into a rescue, but I didn't have any paperwork to show. Yes, it was vaccinated, and a 3-month-old kitten really shouldn't be double vaccinated. So my concern was with Mike Pastore. He didn't get back to me. I'm going to email him again today. Is that who the person is that would have to speak with CVA about changing what they do and how they run it?
Mr. Pastore does run the shelter, so I'd follow up with him, and I'll ask him, and I know he's listening right now, to make sure he communicates with you today when you send your email.
Fantastic. That would be great. And the $5,000, as per the donation, was said, it was to enhance behavior needs. When there's somebody already on staff making over $100,000 for behavior issues, is that correct also?
I couldn't answer that question, but, you know, again, we'll take it under advisement and see if we can follow up with the answer for you.
Okay, only because if the $5,000 is for miscellaneous medical and behavior needs, it's kind of a double dip. And for the record, CVA has denied vehemently that they had a COVID outbreak, that it was a staffing issue, that schools closed and they had to.
That just so you know, that was related to COVID. So that just so you know, their staffing issues and the schools closing were actually related to COVID. So the stuff actually does kind of all intertwine.
Yes, but wording to defame them, saying, just people hesitate to.
No, there was nobody defaming anybody. Everyone's facing a lot of problems. Everyone's facing a lot of, scary situations at employments. We face a lot of scary situations here in the town with these great people I work with. All these facilities do. And people, most people get it. Unfortunately, if you have an outbreak someplace or your family, you can't go to school and you have to watch your kids, everyone's got to be a little understanding during a pandemic. And, for the most part, most people are, like you are. You always have been. You've always been very pleasant to deal with. So I'm very grateful for that.
Thank you. I agree that people are trying to be understanding of it, but nobody wants to put that on, like people might be hesitant to go somewhere because of it. My other concern with the $5,000 is we just want to make sure it actually goes to the animals. And will the shelter, I guess I'll follow up these with Mike Pastore, but I do want them on the record, my concerns. It is kitten season. It is. It may seem, it's so cold out. No, but it is. And will the shelter, I'm not sure you could answer it, but I do want it on the record. My concern is, will the shelter take kittens?
At the time it's deemed okay by our health expert, yeah. I mean, look, as I said, listen, we follow the advice of our EMS director, who's a treating physician at Winthrop. And based on everything that's going on in the world right now and the second wave and all these people getting sick and some of my friends getting sick and people I know dying, we take this stuff hardcore serious, as everybody should be. And that's why I said, if anybody who thinks like we shut a shelter down because we want to shut it down, it really, it's a pandemic. We've had hundreds of thousands of people die.
To be honest, none of us understand why the shelter's not open.
Yeah, that's okay, because you know what? Like I said, but you know what? My obligation is to the men and women I work with and their safety. And I'll tell you something right now, it is absolutely paramount in my life. I care about these people, and when the doctor says it can operate in a safe fashion for the coworkers I have, for their safe, because I care about them, just like I'm sure you care about everybody you work with or everybody in your family, that's when it will. And we should all really focus on that. It's about the well-being and safety of men and women who come in every single week and every single day and are putting it out there and have been coming in during this entire pandemic. And I said, when the doctor says, you know what, we're at a point, and you know what, God bless we're having vaccinations. It means we're getting closer to it. I wish everybody could get a vaccination tomorrow. Obviously, based on the numbers you see from being designated from the county, they're giving out like a handful and they want to celebrate it. We have to vaccinate people, get people healthy, and that's when stuff will crank it open again. So, people just have to have an understanding. But in all due respect, I don't want to hear about anybody I work with getting sick anymore. I don't want to hear about anybody I work with dying anymore, and I have to go to a funeral, or I have to write a note to the family, or I have to say goodbye to them. Listen, I'm not up for it, so I'm going to really do everything I can to safeguard the people I work with in the town, as well as the residents who use these town facilities. And frankly, Dr. Dave and all the people we've worked together, I think have done a phenomenal job. And I'm proud of everything he's done. I'm proud of everything that Parks has done, that DGS has done, that public safety, that water, that sanitation. These men and women are out there doing a yeoman's job. So when the doctor deems it's okay to let the public in there again, trust me, you'll know, because we'll do it with great fanfare, and it'll be a blessing when that day comes, because that means we've really turned a corner in a pandemic where we've lost. They're talking about now, potentially by the end of March, 500,000 people. This is serious stuff. So we're going to do what we have to do.
Okay.
Thank you.
May I respectfully ask one other question? Is for a doctor that what criteria for the shelter vets use the I can't think of the name off the top of my head, the veterinary medicine, like there's a official guidelines that veterinarians are following. I was just curious, does he follow that, or is it
Dr. Dave follows the guidelines of the CDC and the Nassau County Board of Health, who he works really, really closely with. So I'm going to go with Dr. Dave every single time. All right, I appreciate it, but I will tell Mike Pastore when he sends the email to respond to you, because you are very, very nice every time you come in here, and I'm very grateful for that, so thank you.
Email that Christine sent.
Well, they're going to yell, I'm talking to you too long, I'm teasing you. Listen to me, listen, I will make sure, I will ask him to respond, because I know he's watching right now.
Fantastic.
All righty? You take care. Next, we have Meta Meride. Good morning, Ms. Meride. If you give your name and address for the record, please.
Good morning. Rita Meride Baldwin. I should be getting 6 minutes because I was here in time to speak on the admin calendar. And since largely this is in violation of the open meetings law and so few residents are given the opportunity to speak, I should be provided with that request. Councilman Carini, it's so good to see you. It would be awesome if you could return a phone call or have a staff person respond to an email. Also, Supervisor Clavin, I sent you an email as well with regard to my issues from the previous town board meeting and have yet to receive a socially distant response of any kind. Even robo would have been appreciated. I am just very appalled with regard to the ongoing lack of diversity and inclusion in this township. The fact that residents do not have an opportunity in all of this discussion about being safe and secure, but they don't have an opportunity to speak about the issues and the millions of dollars that are getting paid again to what a previous speaker said, the family tree hiring. That is abhorrent to me, considering the issues that you stood on and the platform that you stood on to be elected. And even the fact that you have basically, been reading memos and notes and not even looking up to residents who have taken the time to come here, and you basically brushed them off. As far as, yes, you haven't even given them the company line that someone will get back to you. Some element of courtesy for the position that you sit in. We're seeing millions of dollars that our federal and state taxes have secured for this township that are not going in our communities. I should be able to have the opportunity, as with other residents, for those of us who are out there on the front lines, trying to, as you said, keep people safe and keep people getting access to the resources that they're not getting. I had to drive people around just to show them where the sites are for vaccines that they can't get, for resources that they don't have access to, for rent money, for rent assistance. You have these amendments and resolutions in here to give more money for rental assistance. How much is actually going to the rental assistance versus staffing under the family tree hiring plan? Where is the diversity? You've got new hires and new promotions. Where's the breakdown? You've got contracting, still seeing the same names. So clearly, there's no veterans, there's no minorities, there's no disabled businesses incorporated in this. So you're also in violation of state and federal mandates with state and federal money. But the most important issue is the lack of speech. Freedom of speech is the First Amendment right. We should be able to be here. I'm sure at your fundraisers, you're not going to have people that have to be driven from a clear across the town building.
Thank you, Ms. Meride, and it's nice to see you.
I'm getting
here
my
in
other
person
3
today.
minutes that I was not given because somebody was not able to get here before you voted.
Thank you, Ms.
To
Meride.
take off the speech. I'm going to
Thank you
continue
very
to
much,
speak
Ms.
as
Meride.
is my right.
Thank you. Patrick.
You can turn off the mic.
Thank you, Ms. Meride. Do we have any other members of the public, Patrick, who want to hear? Okay. Thank you so much, everybody. Stay safe and have a wonderful day.
Hey, Anthony, did you give her the cat back for